YouTube. What's going on? We're back with more of the first Descendant. We got Viessa out rocking her bloody mobbing build. So this is the cold bloodedness mobbing build. Again, cold bloodedness can be utilized as either a colossi destroyer, or in this case, you can take it out into some of the end game infiltration operation missions, and it'll put in some work. So this is a great. It can be utilized again for all end game content. Go over the build in detail. It's all time stamped in there. Love that they gave Viessa the buffs that she that she deserves. So she was my first Descendant. So I'm going to go through all these builds before we move on to the next thing. So appreciate the content. You guys are liking these videos. Please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. Alright, this is my Viessa Bloody Mobbing build, or the Cold Bloodedness build. Get right into it. So when it comes to the reactor, we want to run this with the Frozen Mechanics reactor. Again, we're taking advantage of the tech skill with our Blizzard drops, our tech. We want to maximize the power because we're just dropping that non-stop. And chill skill comes standard. And then we run this with the skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage for the bottom attributes in gold. I run this with the 4-piece Slayer set. Again, when we run this with the 4-piece Slayer, we are taking advantage of the 26% base skill power boost ratio. That's primarily why we run this. Always remember that when you do run the 4-piece Slayer set, you are taking an additional skill cost of 15% on all your skills. So you do want to, make sure that you're offsetting that. Cold-bloodedness just naturally does that, which is nice. So it's just naturally offset within the cold-bloodedness. Transcendent module that we get some natural skill cost reduction within it. Go over all that in a minute too. Here we get a little bit of toad in there, and again recover some MP and specialized resources by 17% and a 12% chance. Nothing too crazy there. Again, it's that base skill power boost ratio that we're after. When it comes to the cores on my external component set, I like to run this with the max HP and defense. I run this with on all 4 of the external component set. Can see there. And when it comes to the attributes on the bottom, again, any elemental resistance, max HP, MP gain, shield recovery, HP recovery modifiers, MP recovery modifiers, MP recovery in combat, HP recovery in combat. These are all things that you kind of want to strive for within the the bottom rolls or the bottom attributes of your external components. So with our auxiliary, we've got the fire resistance, max HP. With our sensor, we're running the max MP and the MP recovery in combat. We run this with the electric resistance and the defense. And when it comes to the processor, we've got max shield and shield recovery modifier for a nice little synergy there. Overall, we're running around 7,000 HP, just about 3,000 shield, 38,000 defense. So it's a nice little spread of survivability in there because we do not carry any survivability within our Descendant module setup. When it comes to the Arche Tuning, again, just dipped a little bit into the skill critical hit rate. Again, we want to bring this up within this module because we can't take advantage of it within our weapon or anything like that. So a couple of nodes in there really does help it. Again, we'll go over the stats fully just to show exactly where we're at and the overall scope of our skill critical hit rate and skill critical hit damage, which is what Viessa is, skill spammer and a crit damage dealer. We want to get obviously into our mutant cell. Again, adding some skill critical hit damage to it is huge. So steady hands, good, we're inflicting slow, taking advantage of that. Capstone the skill cooldown. Again, we get additional skill cooldown from the cold bloodedness module. But again, it's nice to have that little extra bump there because we are spamming the just the crap out of her skills. She's super fun to use. I love the bloody mobbing builds. It's pretty fun. And it hits nicely. The Ice Sphere updates, Viessa's updates are really nice. Really love what they've done with her. She's my first Descendant, so I'm very happy with that, with the buff that they gave her. And we want to cap that off with the enhanced skill power. So that's kind of the path that I use, and again, I really just wanted to take advantage of a couple of those skill critical hit rates off to the side there, just to help our overall stats on the skill crit hit rate and damage side of things. Inversion Reinforcement, again, emergency antibody, again getting some elemental resistances stacked up. Selective neurostimulation, again, this runs nice with our fellow. Our fellow recoups 45, every 45 seconds we're regenning 60% MP from our fellow. This also helps us regen, some MP at a set percentage chance. There's 3 different options here, but again, it's just a nice little synergy for mana regain. And again, we got this offset with skill cost. Again, defeating an enemy, boom, we get some skill cost reduction in there. You can go either way. Skill cooldown's also good. When you hit an enemy, you can get some more skill cooldown. I feel like there's more than enough in there. If you really wanted to, you could go that route. Or you could go straight for the mobility. But I feel like I have that built into my weapon, so I opted for skill cost. But there is a couple of other options on the notes if you were, looking for other options other than the path that I'm using. Again, we went over the fellow, using the MP fellow. Again, recouping the 16% MP recovery every 45 seconds. Synergizes nice with that inversion reinforcement node that I just highlighted. And now into the crux of the build. So, trigger module. I run this with the, just to switch it up. I know the Power Beyond, everybody's on with that one, but I feel like this does nicely. Again, we're getting good usage out of it with our, fourth ability. We're spamming with the Blizzard. This thing is really just chews through the, the Tyrants, Commanders, Elites, Colossuses. We're getting all of that additional, skill attack against them, which is beneficial, especially when you're running it in the, the higher infiltration operation missions, right? Like the Legion's Laboratory, underwater base, stuff like that. So the higher ended content, nice to have this on there. Could you put it with Power Beyond? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I just like to switch up my builds, try some different things. I feel like this thing has absolutely been melting the Tyrants, especially in those higher tiered infiltration operation mission. That's a trigger mod that I use with it. Again, we're running the cold-bloodedness, and again, as it reads, using the skill increases your skill power and decreases skill cost and cooldown, which is huge. But again, we do not get the frost roads, so you kind of sub out your frost roads, kind of lose that, the ice sheets and the ice shackle that come with it, but you're gaining a decent amount of skill cost reduction and a huge amount of skill cooldown. So even when I kind of show these numbers, you basically just have them and take a little bit off of that as well. So it's not even half. You're getting some of these skills back. Like my Blizzard is coming back every 5 seconds. So as you can see, the cooldown with this is 15.8. But then you trigger your cold-bloodedness. You make sure that this is up the whole time. And again, your skill cooldown on this is low. The MP cost is low. But again, the cold-bloodedness duration, you get increased duration, or you get the duration of it at 15 seconds, which is nice. And then the skill power increase, you get MP cost decrease, as you can see, 20%, and the skill cooldown reduction rate at an additional 25%. So you really feel that. If you don't pop this, you're gonna feel 15, 16 seconds as opposed to 5 or 6 seconds. It's huge. So that's how it all works. You don't gain your frost roads, but you just make sure that your cold-bloodedness popped and up the whole time. You're getting all those cold-bloodedness benefits. It's up for 15 seconds. Huge amounts of nice skill power bump. MP cost decrease at 20. Skill cooldown reduction rate 25%. Very, very nice. So everything that you're seeing here is instant. Like your frost shards, these are instantly come back to you with this build. So you can constantly just spam it off. Again, your cold snap's coming back every 3 seconds. Again, you got this up every 5-6 seconds. Just really, really nice skill spamming. You're just able to drop the Blizzard bomb. I've had 3 of these up at one time because it comes back that fast. It's pretty crazy. That's the crux of cold-bloodedness. It just, again, enhances the skill power, reduces cooldown costs, and gives you a little bit of skill power bump, but you lose your frost road. The modules are kind of standard. I'll leave them up there. Obviously, I'm going to leave them up there for you guys to look at, but when it comes to the overall stats, we'll go over this in a second. But again, the crux of this is making sure that your Ancestor module, you're running with the skill critical damage, skill critical hit rate at a very high level. Anything that you can get, to roll underneath it, or anything that's not too damaging. If you get a decreased trait, it's not too, it's not the end of the world. But just make sure you got the skill critical damage, skill critical hit rate. Double purple, you obviously want these in gold. Obviously, reds. I got some with some nice survivability with max shield, so it really helps nice. This is a great module. Again, I'm always looking for gains like crit hit damage, skill critical hit rate. Want these things in gold. Again, the grind continues. It's never ending trying to get the right ones to roll under or drop for you. But again, because of this now, we've got all of our skill critical hit rate, skill critical damage from our Ancestor. We've got our skill concentration. We've got our skill insight, right? Our skill critical damages, our skill critical hit rates. We've got front lines in there. We do not need to run this with emergency measures. And I'm just going to go into this right now to show the info before I go into this, is because we're already basically at the maximum skill critical hit rate that we can be at. So to apply that puts us over the cap a little bit. And again, we're not really gaining too much by having that module in there. So it allows us to free that up and apply, you know, another module to just enhance raw skill power. And I've been using power increase. And again, because our skill cooldown is so low from the cold-bloodedness, you don't have to run double focus as well. You don't have to run the focus on tech and focus on shield to get that, that cooldown that you're looking for that skill spamming, so you're able to just, delete the enemies. You already have it in there. So again, that's another, quality of life gain, I guess you could say, just by having that cold-bloodedness. So again, we're able to throw on the power increase, and again, everything else is, pretty standard. We got our, maximize conservation. So I do have a skill cost reduction module in there, and I did max it out. You can use a strong mentality for this. I am running maximize conservation. Obviously I spam this skill out. I thought I took this off, but you can run this a little bit lower. But again, more skill cost reduction is only going to help you spam the shit out of your skills and be able to delete the enemies. So I do have some skill costs in there, so I apologize for saying that I didn't have it on there when I do. And I got the double skill cooldowns. Again, we went over our skill concentration, skill insight, front lines, and skill expansion. You do want that range on with Viessa, which is nice. So that's something that you could gain within your Ancestor module. If you had some range in there, you might be able to free up another slot to put another power module in there, and just be able to get the gains that way. So definitely gains to be had. We can do better on our Transcendent module for this build. But this is it as a whole. And again, if you're having problems with the survivability and you're looking for gains, or you want to try something different, the front lines is kind of my swap module. I like to keep everything here with the front lines, because again, it's not like huge amounts of skill critical damage or skill critical hit rate. So again, you can swap that in for Aftershock Catalyst to get that nice synergy with the ground eruption off of that. So again, it grants additional skill cooldown, and then additional MP recovery. These are nice, just like support aspect of it all. If you're looking for some type of survivability, so you've got front lines is basically a power bump. The Aftershock Catalyst is kind of more of a support for additional cooldown and some MP recovery. And obviously my go-to for additional survivability is Spear and Shield. So if you're having trouble and you're dying and you're looking for some more survivability in the build, I do recommend Spear and Shield, because again, we get the base skill power boost ratio. Again, this synergizes with our external components, synergizes with our power increase, so you're just getting a nice set of raw base skill power boost. Again, we're covered on tech because we've got our tech in here, we've got it in our reactor, we've got chill covered because our skills are just naturally chill in there. That's in the reactor as well. So having the base skill power boost with some survivability is nice. There's no other survivability module like the HP ones that'll give you a power boost that go with it. So when it comes to my favorite survivability module, I like Spear and Shield over a lot of the the HP modules. I'd rather take be able to absorb the damage as opposed to having a higher health bar and then gain some base skill power boost ratio with it. So again, if you're looking to swap it out, you can do that. Again, getting rid of the front lines and swapping it in for a survivability or another module is not going to hurt this rate too much. I think it'll drop it down to just under, it'll bring you down into the 80s, and it'll drop you down into the 500s on your skill critical hit damage swapping it out, but you'll at least feel the survivability aspect there. That being said, the ice spheres are absolutely disgusting. So this thing is what allows you, or in my opinion allows me to not have to throw on a survivability mod, because these friggin' spheres are out there just destroying everything. And again, you get additional attack on commanders and colossus with these things. They're up the whole time, and again, your shackles go up. These things are just absolutely melting enemies out on the field, and they don't go away now like they used to before. So they're just up the whole time, just beaming enemies, beaming bosses. Very, very cool. With the weapon, it's pretty straightforward. The secret garden. When it comes to the secret garden, you can see my cores. We got the triple sprint speeds in there. You're not firing the weapon. You're not firing the secret garden. Period. You're using it again. I use it for the mobility, and obviously for its unique ability. So, for those that don't already know, when you're spamming a tech skill, again, our fourth ability, Blizzard, is tack. It grants the unique ability Pest Control. So the Pest Control is really nice. So at a trigger rate, it's 50%, so it's not too bad. But at a 50% trigger rate, at a 10-second duration, we get 3 stacks. We're able to increase our skill power by, by 5%. So, and the power per stack is at 16%. So it's basically almost 50% additional skill power that we're able to generate with this weapon, and just by using our, again, a tech skill. So our Blizzard is tech, and we're spamming it like crazy. The Pest Control is up, boom, 48% skill power just by its natural ability. So Secret Garden, it's been around forever. It's a great weapon to use with any tech dealer. You know, Lepic benefits from that as well. That's it. That's the build as a whole. I'll show the modules, I guess, for the build. So these are my passive traits too. So those are the cores, passive traits, and then this is just a general build for it. So brisk walk, again, everything for mobility. So if I do fire the gun and I, get a hit, at least I'm moving around a little bit better. Nothing crazy. But yeah, this is my cold-bloodedness Viessa. Again, Viessa is my first Descendant. This build is it's like a relic dusted off for endgame use today. So I hope you guys like it. Love Viessa. GG's.